Hi everybody, today we're going to take a look at how to go through in OnShape and create our first object, which will be a cube with a circle bored through the middle. So first I'm going to go ahead and hit create, and it's going to be a new document, and that can be all kinds of things, but first shape demo, first object demo is what I'm going to call it. And you see here that we've got these three planes that we can work with. Over here we've got the cube that we can use to change our views. If we want to look exactly at one plane, we can choose that. Right click and drag will adjust our view. So we take a look at the front view again, and then we look there, we go towards the bottom, we look there, we go towards the top. And we kind of get all three back in order. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is develop a sketch. The basic workflow is you develop a sketch, you set up the dimensions the way you want, and then you extrude that sketch or do something else to turn that into a 3D element. So I'm going to create a sketch by clicking this button right here. And then I have to choose the plane. I want it to be on the top plane, so I'm going to choose that one. Take off the front plane and choose the top plane, and I'm going to go ahead and look at this from the top. Okay, and then on this I want to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to choose a corner rectangle. I could do a center point rectangle if I wanted, but I'm going to do a corner rectangle. And I'm just going to click once to start. I'm going to drag it out a ways, and then I'm just going to click when I'm kind of near. I'm not going to get it exact, because once you've clicked, notice that this dimension is in blue and this one's in gray, and as I move over I can kind of choose which one's the focus. By default it's going to be this one. So if I type a 4 and hit return, it's now 4 inches wide, and then it bounces to this one and I say 4 again, and now my square is 4 inches by 4 inches. Now I want to center it around here. These lines are blue, which says that it might know how long they are, but it doesn't know exactly where they should be. Scroll wheel zooms in and out. So I want to tell it where it should be. So I'm going to use dimension, which is not that one. This one right here. D is the shortcut key. So I press D, and then I want to show it what the distance is between this line and the origin point. So I click the line, I click the origin point, and then I tell it where I want it to show the dimension. That's the third click. And since this is 4 inches, right, that's 4 inches wide, I want this to be 2 inches away. Return. And then I'll do the same thing with the bottom to the origin. So click, 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 2 inches. And now it's centered, and you'll see that all the lines are black because it's fully dimensioned. I can drag these dimensions around. Once I click off of that tool, I can choose that and sort of get those out of the way because they don't belong inside really. That's good enough. And I'll just put that in the middle a little bit. So now I've created my square. It's 4 inches by 4 inches. It's centered around the origin. Everything is good. I'm done with my sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and hit checkbox. I'm going to extrude. And so extrude, if you think about like a pasta maker or like those Play-Doh toys where you shove it through and it comes out as this consistent long shape, that's an extrusion. So here the idea is we're going to take a face and we're going to extrude it out, sort of pull it out, and it's going to make a 3D object. So I need to choose the face. I'm going to do new. You can also add geometry to something that already exists. You can remove, or you can focus on sort of the intersection where they meet. So I'm going to do new. The face I want is the sketch that I just did. And if I now rotate a little bit, we can see that it defaults to that 1 inch, and it gives me this arrow, and I can just drag that handle if I want. But I want it to be 4 inches too. We're going to make a 4-inch cube. And now that that's done, I say, I hit that green checkbox, and now I've got my cube. And that gets us kind of as far as maybe we got in class that first day. Some classes might get a little further. Now I want to do another one in order to get a circle running through this cube, right? I'm going to go ahead and turn that upwards. And there we go. I'm going to draw a circle in this, and I'm going to make it maybe an inch off of each of these corners. So if that's 2 inches roughly, if I look at the top, so that's 2 inches. So 1 inch will be right around there, 1 by 1. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a sketch, only this time, instead of doing one of the main planes, I'm going to do the face of the cube. And now I'm going to draw a center point circle, and I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch circle. So I click, I drag out. Doesn't really matter how far I get, because when I click again, I can say 0.5. And now that's got it exactly a diameter of 1/2 inch. Should be diameter. And then I want to dimension it. So I'm going to again choose this dimension tool. I'm going to press escape to get out of the circle. Choose the dimension tool and go from this edge to this point. There we go. And I'm going to make that 1 inch. And I'm going to go from this edge to that point. I'm going to make that 1 inch. There we go. And then I'm going to extrude. I'm going to escape that. And extrude, the shortcut for that, I need to get out of the sketch to do it, is Shift E. And I'm going to choose that face. And this time I'm going to remove. And as I rotate a little bit, we'll see that it's trying to go through. And I could drag that all the way through, and that'd do. I can also change the end type to through all. Since that's all there is, it's going to go exactly to the end. And if I change the size of this, it's going to finish it up as well. So that should work well. And then I have a hole in the middle, the corner of this cube. Okay, so that's as far as we want to go with this one today. Looking at it again, we drew a sketch of a square. Let's take the front view here. We drew a sketch of the square. We centered it around the origin by dimensioning it. D was the shortcut key. We extruded that out 4 inches. And then we drew a sketch on the top face of that cube and made a circle, dimensioned it to 1 inch from either edge on the one corner, and then we extruded it through, removing material all the way through. And that is as far as we got. Thanks, everybody.